Okay, we have Mohit Dhanjal of Raymond who also joins in. In fact, we're also going to discuss the approval of the Model Shop and Establishment Act. So now all shops, restaurants can be open 24/7. But will they? Mohit Dhanjal is with us. Mohit, hi, morning. Can you start off by telling us whether you would consider keeping the Raymond stores open 24/7 and how much of an incremental benefit could you see on account of the new Model Shops Act?
Good morning, Sonia. Yes, I think the Model Shops and Establishment Bill is a very progressive piece of legislation. However, as you know, this is just an advisory legislation because it depends on the states to adopt it, and we are hopeful that most of the states would actually adopt this progressive legislation. If that happens, I actually see a win-win for all our four stakeholders. Customers, because now they would be able to shop at their convenience wherever and whenever she wants. As retailers, we would be able to, simplify our operations and cater to such demand. So if it means being there at, let's say, 12 o'clock in the night with the store open, we would be able to do that. And of course, employees, because, if you're going to have stores that are going to open for extended periods of time, then you need more people manning those stores. So therefore, we see an employment increase in our stores. And then, of course, the government, because, if there's more business that happens in the market, and then there's an opportunity for them to get additional tax revenues. So I think it's a positive move. However, we are hopeful that, the states also adopt this and move forward.
Okay, I like the way you said whenever she wants, considering that women are the biggest shoppers compared to women and men. But Rakesh, come in on that. Would it be, it's very hunky-dory to expect shops to be open 24/7, but would it be feasible to keep the shops open given the higher employee costs you'll have to pay, the higher power costs, etc.?
I think it completely depends upon where your store is located, So if I look at some of our own stores, I clearly see that some of our Big Bazaar stores, and specifically I would say the food sections within them, clearly there can be a demand where we could land up opening those stores 24/7. But I would say that, one has to be more focused and look at where the traction is. Assume a store is very close to a railway station or a public transport center. Yes, it makes sense to open it. If it's in a high density location, yes, it makes sense to open. So I think one would have to evaluate. But I would say that, clearly the flexibility that this provides as and when the states adopt this law, it could help in increasing the demand, it could help in increasing the sales. And one would have to balance the cost model around it. So I'm not worried on the cost model as of right now, but I think, yes, the flexibility is welcome, and one would evaluate it, and one would definitely, talk to the consumers and look at, is there a demand at these odd hours, and, please look into the fact that the maximum jobs are getting created in service sector, and many of those sectors come to kind of work 24/7, and people work on shifts. So, there is specifically in large metros today, people who are returning back from work at 5 in the morning or reporting for work at 5 in the morning also. So I would say that it's a welcome change. It's accepting the fact that the country is changing. The demand has got to be there, and I think we'll have to work towards that.
Okay, so just let's take, for example, the Lower Parel area, Rakesh. Any market research in place in terms of whether there would be enough demand to justify the kind of cost impact? Because if they're open 24/7, the night cost, the night employee cost will be at least 1.2, 1.3 times of the day cost. So that's also something that you got to take into account.
So I would say that, let's take our store, we have now a store at Matunga, which is in the heart of a residential area on a very important thoroughfare called the Tulsi Pipe Road. And my assumption is the fact that, there could be a model where we could look at opening the store 24/7, at least on the food side of that store. And I don't see a problem on the cost. I think what is more important is the fact that, the customer convenience is first priority. And if the customer says, yes, it could benefit me, and there's a substantial portion of them that could benefit from it, we would definitely go ahead and open the stores for those kind of markets. And I think that there are clearly about, off the cuff, last evening we were just trying to look through how many such stores we have. I think there are about 15-20 such stores which are in and around so-called public transport hubs. and those are clearly stores that we would look at opening 24/7. Plus, we do have certain convenience store models, and some of them could remain 24/7 open. So, I would say that to say that none of them will remain open and there won't be a cost viability, I think that's something the business has to work towards, and I'm sure we'll be able to do that.
Okay, since you said that you listen to your customers, we are your customers and we say yes, please go ahead and open them 24/7. We wouldn't mind going and shopping late in the nights because we work throughout the day in any case.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get some thoughts from you before we go to Mohit on the future consumer business growth itself. I mean, FY16 was a great year for you. You saw 30% growth on the top line. Of course, you're still paying higher interest costs, so it's not really flowing through to the bottom line. But in FY17, what could the growth be for future consumer?
I am not part of the core team out there, so I wouldn't have that data upfront for you. But I must say that at Future Retail, we continue to sell a lot of the brands which are produced by Future Consumer Enterprises. The traction that they have had has been fantastic. The kind of share that they are taking up in each of the categories is also very, very positive. And the product landscape or the brand landscape that they have presented to us looks very, very positive. I think there's a significant amount of research that the Future Consumer Enterprise team is doing, looking at where the customer demands are going towards, and looking at new categories and new innovations, and which is what is very exciting. So I believe that there's a tremendous amount of portfolio work that is due to come in. The retail team at our end is actually very excited with what the kind of products that Future Consumer Enterprises is proposing to produce over the next 1 year.
Okay, Mohit, a question on your company. Clearly, your products are available online as well now, and that, of course, was the big challenge. How much of your sales are now through online channels, and going forward, how do you see that mix changing?
Anuj, at Raymond, we look at online as another opportunity to reach out to the consumer. So if a consumer wants to shop, and irrespective where they want to shop, we should be available. So that's how we look at online. And today, online is a very small part of our portfolio because we do not use the discounting model to capture turnover. Through online, we are using the convenience model. That means if you want to buy Raymond, you should get it wherever you want. And going forward, we also look at online being a critical part of our omni-channel strategy, where a consumer can buy when, where, how, and as much as she wants, irrespective of which channel or which place.
Okay, well, Rakesh, Mohit, thank you for stopping by. This Model Shop Act will change the way consumers approach the entire retail space for sure, because now you'll get all that you want whenever you want. So thanks, guys, for joining us and giving us the impact. Well, that's the word coming in on the retail space, but let's get back to our core markets, which is equities and commodities.